welcome to our very first episode of season 3 of Teaching Through Conversation. I am Reverend LL, your host, and it is a joy and indeed a privilege to have you joining us tonight, both here physically and online. So as we begin this new season, we find ourselves in the midst of observation as we observe very significant month, which is Youth Month and Pride Month, and we do so opening the very first episode in the new season in a week where we observe Child Protection Week. So this reminds us that our children matter. Our children need to be protected, and our youth need to be empowered. And the question therefore is, whose responsibility is it to empower? Whose responsibility is it to protect our children? And what I like is that we do not only do that in the absence of young people, but we do not just talk about young people or children, but we talk to them because their voices matter. Therefore, we need to understand what is it that they need from us, especially as the church, as schools, as well as the wider community. So please help me welcome. I'm not alone this evening. I have my wonderful panel. Next to me here, I have a youth group representative. Let me just say a rep. I have Mohau Msibi. Welcome and thank you for joining us. And then we have at the second level, we have a chairperson from the Junior Manyano, Siyabonga Kunene. Welcome, Siyabonga. And from the Wesley Guild, from the youth rep, again from the Wesley Guild side, in the secretariat position here at home, we have Kanyisile Sopua. Welcome.
Thank you.
And last but not least, we have our own mother, Mama Kabinde, who is a deputy principal and is also an active member of the Women's Manyano here at home, former chairperson of Women's Manyano. So thank you so much for making the time. Thank you for your willingness to come and sit here and be with us. And a warm welcome to all of you who could join us this evening as well. Can you please help me to welcome them? So let us begin. When you hear the phrase, it takes a village to raise a child, what does that come to mind? We're talking about whose responsibility is it to raise, to protect, and to empower young people or even our children. I grew up knowing very well that being raised or being protected or being empowered is not only the responsibility of my parents, but it is a responsibility of my teachers. It is a responsibility of the community members. Therefore, hence, and I'm sure Mama Kabinde, you can relate to that you could not just be free even in the street in the absence of your parents, because you knew that each and every parent therefore is responsible for your upgrowing, for your nurturing, and therefore they could call you into order at any time. So what comes to mind in today's age, in today's day and age, when we say it takes a village to raise a child? Can you see?
Pose the question to Kabinde. Rev. It's in simple terms. It involves everyone. Me being a mother myself, I know that I cannot do it alone. I will not be able to do it alone. It's virtually never been a mother before. So when I experienced motherhood, it was for the first time. I did not have reference of what it meant to be a mother, what it meant to raise a kid. So it does take a village. So when we speak about a village, we speak about the church, the parents, we speak about the community, our government, and God Himself. So there's a verse in which I was reading today, Proverbs 22, verse 6, that says, teach they should go. And I think that was an instruction from God. So it's an instruction that came from above, from our Father in heaven, that instructed the parents whom He entrusts with the children, with His children, because I think as parents we are vessels, but our children belong to God Himself. So I think that He instructed them to say, teach them the ways, and my ways, and not the world's ways.
Exactly.
So I think if for us to be able to have a generation that knows themselves internally before they know themselves externally, because I think we find ourselves as young people, including myself, I don't think I've identified myself with myself, or myself with my purpose as yet. And I think we all suffer from that. Even people who are older, they'll tell you, I don't know what my purpose is. And it's because it was not entrenched as a child. To say, this is where you seek your purpose, and not outside. You know, so I think it's those people are important, that we are all involved, and we are all at the same. I always tell, my partner whom we are raising the child on, that if we are on the same page, then they would tear us apart in terms of if I say this, then the other would say, you know, if we are on the same page, if we are sharing the same values, if we are on the same path of life, then we are able to shape the child's future. But if we are not on the same path, because kids mirror what we do as parents, that's why I believe that the first people are the parents who were instructed by God. So if the parents, they themselves do not know who they are in Christ, then we will be derailed. It will show in the children, because they mirror what we are doing.
So, Mama Kabinde, what would you say from your what happens when the village stops showing up? What kind of behavior do you see in children?
You know, as you said, like from the educational point of view, as teachers, we act in loco parentis. That means in the absence of the parent, you are the parent as a teacher. And we also have systems in place taken care of. Because sometimes you find that there are children who are from dysfunctional families, and it's not the child's fault. Maybe the child is an orphan, or maybe is abused somewhere or something. So as a school, we need to have our systems in place. Like we have the needs of the children. You look at a child in totality, not just maybe physical or emotional, in totality as a whole. So that committee ensures that there is nutrition. And maybe an underprivileged family whereby they don't have food, you find that they only rely on the food that they get at school. So now the school has to make sure that children get healthy food, the food that is cooked. And to show that the government is playing a part, they are respecting the child, they know that the whole education is child-centered. They ensure that even the food handlers, the people who are preparing the food for the children, are trained, are neat and clean, the whole environment is clean and safe.
I want to come in there. In the absence of all of that, the support from school, the support from home, the support from a community, what kind of behavior do you see in a child when there's that lack of support?
Well, obviously the child will be unruly. The child won't concentrate in class. The child won't cope. They just need that support. Hence, we have that school-based, and that school-based is not only in the school environment.
Okay.
We have the police also that are involved, the SARS. We also have the spiritual leaders, the ministers that are also forming part. We have the nurses that are the social workers. Everybody is a whole village that has to look into the child, because it's all the different aspects, the emotional, physical, everything, including social.
Wow,
So,
I like that.
so we have to make sure that the child is assisted in totality.
So each and every school has
Each
or
and every,
supposed to
yes,
have them.
as I'm saying, it's a lawful committee.
I didn't know about
It
that.
is mandatory. It is called school-based support team.
It's good
There
to
is no
hear.
school that does not have that, and it is highly functional. And you're not only looking at the nutritional part like the health, you also look into the behavior. The abused or
It shows in the behavior somehow.
negligence can cause the child maybe to be disruptive in class, or maybe to bully other children, and maybe like children who are raising themselves, they can join gangsterism and all that. So we have to look into that to bring, as well as the police, the correctional services must also tell them that, teach them that if you are behaving in a certain way, then this is where you end up. You end up. So there is also correctional services that is involved to help that child to grow, because on his own, this child can end up maybe under the bridge somewhere, and all that. And you find that maybe that child has a potential. Maybe that child can be a future doctor or a president and all that. So now we have to try our best, our level best, to make sure that this child is raised in a proper way.
My goodness, thank you, Mama, for sharing that. I'm honestly not aware that our schools have such facilities, because I said to Katlego earlier that sometimes as the government or the institutions that seek to help particularly a black child to come out of their unfortunate background to be someone in their future, we always base it on marks that a child first must perform. That's when then these resources are made available. But what about that child who is facing all these challenges at home, but this child has a potential, and as a result, this child cannot perform because of all these things that the child is faced with at home, but then someone is unable or they fail to help this child. So I'm glad to hear this evening that actually the school is intentional, the government is intentional in making sure that the child is protected, because for me, that speaks to the protection of the child. So Siyabonga, in your own language, how old are you?
15.
15. Language, what does protection mean to you when we say a child should be protected? What are you looking for when for you to say indeed as a child?
Child protection is listening to us, believing we are talking to them about things that hurt us. It looks like feelings, no hitting, no bullying, touching that makes you feel, and having someone we can talk to if someone is treating us badly, and knowing that they will help us. It means you are not called with bad words, no touching in places that are private.
What is protection for you as a young person?
Protection for me is like being aware that if you're faced with a situation that makes you feel uncomfortable, you will not be shamed for it, you will not be humiliated. You know that whatever happens, you have someone that you can speak to. You have a support system that will like take care of you and assess the situation, and not have a mentality or
about the mental health and stuff like that. So yeah, protection for me is knowing that you're covered, knowing that you're safe, and knowing that if something has to happen to me, there's someone who will not allow it, and there's someone who will speak up for me. Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing. And again, I was sharing with my kids, I'm like, and it's what both of you are saying, that support, someone believing you, someone knowing that there's someone who will not allow something bad to happen to you, making the church space safer, making the homes a safe environment for our children. It takes those simple things for our children to feel protected. They don't need fancy homes, they don't need all these things that are pricey, but they need us to be present and believe them. And my kids again are also so big on me trusting them. When they tell me something that I should trust them, because that again, it builds that confidence, that self-esteem, that relationship that, you know what, and as you said, Siabonga, that in a church space, children should feel safe. And the question that I'm sitting, or I feel I am convicted actually asking myself, or do children feel safe in our church space? Do children feel welcome in our space? Also beyond the church, outside in the community, when they are faced with an elder coming, do they feel safe?
Not like figuring yourself out, but I feel like a lot of things that are, I don't know how to place it, but a lot of things that are ignored rather is growing up and understanding Hore. When we become teenagers, besides physical changes, there are emotional changes as well. And the idea of, I'm not promoting teenage relationships, but it's inevitable, I believe. When you start figuring yourself out, that's when you also look into, not really look into, but then you start also seeing people as more than friends, you understand? But then in societies and whatever, it's seen as a thing of those type of things. You should only think of them when you're in your 20s and all of that. But it starts somewhere, you understand? So I'm not, like I'm saying, I'm not promoting teenage relationships, but you can't accept a certain change and not another that comes with it. Physical changes do come, but emotional changes come as well. So I should not be shamed for now seeing someone and saying, oh, this person is really nice. Then you're going to tell me, Usalungwana. But part of growing, those things are going to come as well. And how you approach it. And I feel like another thing is how you deal with the situation will determine whether I'm comfortable to tell you about it or not. So now you can't deny me telling you, this is not what my parents do. Just saying. Yeah. But you can't,
that's not how they receive it.
Yeah, you can't not let a child explore themselves on that level as well. Then get mad when your children don't want to speak to you about certain things. And you wonder, why isn't my child speaking to me? Yet you reject certain aspects of them that shape who they are becoming.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. And hence I'm saying, parents, are we listening? Because this is what I say to my children, that in as much, actually I was saying that to also a sister in Christ this morning, earlier today, telling me that their child is moving out. I'm like, hey, it's nice, it's a nice thing to see your children grow, but it's also not nice. I'm in that stage as well, where I see my kids are growing up.
Your children, not kids.
My children. Yes, I always call them the kids, and they have an issue with that. For me, they'll always be my kids. But in a way, Mama Nkabinde, what I'm saying is, you want them to grow, and it's exactly what Mohawi is saying. But then again, you want them to remain children or kids in a certain area. When I see them forming relationships outside me, I feel jealous. I feel left out. That, okay, now there are certain things that they will do without me because we always do things together. So I'm saying, parents, I hope we are listening, that in as much as we say it's a good thing for a child to grow. So these are the challenges that they are faced with, to make sure that they hold on to that good relationship they have with us by being open to say, okay, it's not only my body that is developing, it's not only my mentality, because we get excited when they develop here, they excel at school. But what about the emotional aspect of it? That they see someone, I mean, yeah, she said it. They see someone in a different way. Oh, that person is nice. We need to be that kind of a parents that will say, oh, okay, and what do you think about him? You know, stuff like that. Yes,
Can I just piggyback on how I think I'm gonna go back to the parents being the cushion.
Okay.
It's even Mina as a young person, there's certain things that I know I cannot utter to my mother because I already know the reaction.
My goodness.
And it is because I think as parents, conversations and judgments that parents have to certain situations, that when I find myself in it as your child now, because it can happen to another person's child, another person, but it can happen to me. Now I don't have that safe space to come and tell you. And in most cases, as young people, we lean onto our friends because as parents, you don't create that safe space.
Sure.
And friends, remember, come from different homes as well. And friends, unfortunately, they are as innocent as we are when we become friends. We are all innocent. We love each other because we've got a common denominator, common interest. So we become friends on that. But I know that as children don't become friends as they ask, oh, how does your mother pray, or does your dad pray, or
No, you don't
what do
talk
you guys
about that.
believe in at home? Or you don't talk about that. They know that they both love soccer, or they both love netball, or they like ballet. They go together and they become friends. But now it comes to that my daughter cannot tell me because I've been judging other kids, so she cannot tell me when she's in that type of situation to say that, no, you know what, I'm also going through this, you know, and like you said, the physical challenges that I think as parents we are responsible because we've been through that. So we've been through the puberty stages. It should be now a taboo that a person likes a girl or a person likes a boy. It happened to us as well, you know, but it's almost like now we, instead of teaching our kids or teaching the children how to navigate, and when I mean navigate, to say, okay, not now, you know, it's not bad that you like a boy, but not now, you know, because you don't have that level of good judgment as yet. And again, parents also need to trust what you've instilled in your kids. Trust us more in terms of being able to make the decision, even if it's wrong, it's a wrong decision, it's a right decision, but be able to say that even if she made the wrong decision, will she be able to handle the consequences? This is why we are facing mental health issues as the youth. It's because we were not taught how to handle the consequences. It's gonna happen. We'll find ourselves where we are making wrong decisions. It's a lesson learned. But how do you come back from that emotionally, mentally? How do you prepare yourself to come back to that? That it's not the end of the world. It's happened to other people before. You're not the first person it's happened to. So that you're able to train your child's mind as well to be able to understand disappointment. Because I think we also cushion the children a lot in terms of, okay, don't do this, don't do that, don't do this, don't. Sometimes
when that happens,
yes,
what should they do?
when they encounter such a situation? What should they do? And I remember, Ma'am Kabini, you can correct me, but I remember when we were young in schools, they would in life skills, they would teach us those things. If you encounter a fire, what do you do? Stop, roll. What is it? Stop, drop and roll. You know. So that's safety measures, and I don't know if it still happens in schools, but it's a good thing. It's safety measures, because I'm not there. Like Ma'am Kabini said, I'm not there as a parent, but you are there, and in a case where you cannot also handle 30 kids at once, but that child will be able to have that instinct to say, I was taught how to protect myself.
Yes.
So it's important also for us to teach our kids to protect themselves as well. Mentally, emotionally, physically, protect, guard your space. And in the Bible, it says, guard your heart, for everything flows through it. So guard your space as well. And as much as, yes, we would want to protect them and cushion them and not have them move out and everything, but as parents, please do trust them more and teach them to guard their space.
True. So this for me says protection of children and young people goes beyond the physicality, but it speaks to the wholeness of a being, of a person, that we need to make sure that everything is in space, everything has been prepared, not only the good things, this is what you are to do, but if you phase 1, 2, 3, because I think even now when we talk about Child Protection Week, which is something that is not of the church, but it's on the South African calendar, we're thinking about a child being harmed physically. Until we fail to realize that danger is always there, whether physically or mentally or emotionally, but what do we do? How do we prepare our children? Siyabonga, what are some of the challenges that you face as a young person where you feel you need to be protected?
And us as children, we need to be protected like a church with and the rest don't have, they must share. Children, even us as kids, if you scream at us, you can't do anymore, or we also disrespect other people who did not do anything bad to us.
My goodness.
So us as kids, we need to, God is here, and we must have trust in God and know that we are important in his lives, and know that we are not the only one who go through those things. All of us go through, but we don't know what you go through at home. We know what we go through ourselves at home. We don't know your story. Which some kids, even though you shout at them, they end up committing suicide, or teachers swear them at school or kick them out during exams. Like, it's a lot, because us as children, we are short-tempered, most of us. Like me, myself, like this. If, like, you shout at me, let me make an example of me. I turn off, I don't listen to you. The next day, I will come and apologize. That's what we have to do as kids. Forgive and forget. Grow.
So we have to see you as a human being. Respect goes both ways. We need to, not because of the position that you hold, not because of your age, but because all of us are created in the image of God. So whether it's female, that is a person, a human being. We need to respect their rights. We need to respect their space. We need to respect their emotions. And many times we don't even respect children's spaces.
Sure.
Let me not get into that. So, Mama Kabinde, you spend in a space that you work every day as a deputy principal, and some of the people that you work with, you spend a significant amount of time with children and young people, perhaps more than even us as parents. And you've mentioned some of the tools that you have in terms of making sure that a child is looked after, a child is protected. But what are some of the roles that the school play in ensuring that the child and a young person is empowered?
Well, in the education itself, the life skills. We have life skills where they learn all the, what has to do with life orientation. And also we have, like I said, most of our systems are in place. We normally invite, we have stakeholders that we invite to the school to come and empower our children. Maybe we'll call social workers, maybe, or psychologists to talk to children about emotional problems or mental illness or whatever. And then if it has to do with drugs, we call Sanka to come and address our children, to talk to them, about drugs, substance abuse and everything. With so many stakeholders, as we know that, as you said earlier on, that it's a village, it's an entire village. So the growth of the child is not just academically, but it's in totality. And those learners who are struggling academically, they are also being taken care of. They are catered. We have like extra lessons where they are assisted, and also the district will help in terms of referring them maybe to academically. So that child needs to know that, okay, maybe I need to try something else. And then that's when now we refer them, and then they will assess the child, and then they will place them according to their ability. Because we are differently gifted. So that's the role we play as a school. So there's a lot, and we also, even in our assembly, we have we invite so many ministers, whoever that can come just to empower, to so that they can face this difficult world. Because we live in terrible times. Like my daughter would say to me, Mama, you don't trust me and all that. I tell her that, what, I love you so much, but the environment, the world we live these days, things are different. Even a friend you can get yourself like taking drugs or something because of a friend. So it's not about you, but it's about the society we live in. So now they will think maybe we don't trust them, but we are trying to protect them. Maybe we become overprotective. Like, for example, I wouldn't let her walk around alone to the shop. I'm scared because of what we read in the groups, that hey, somebody was hijacked, to say kidnapped, or the whole the crime and everything is the one. I think maybe it's causing anxieties and all that. So even at school we make sure, or we don't like instill fear in them and all that, but we empower them. But we call the relevant people who will come and look at different aspects of life.
So the school is more than just learning about subjects.
Yes.
But like you said, you don't just empower children academically, but you also nurture, you protect them, you empower them emotionally and otherwise. That should anything happen to them or around them, then they know where to seek for help. They know which numbers to call. And even when parents get to fight, perhaps at home, they need to know what they need, what steps to take in such an instance. So that for me, actually, I am sitting here because you've spoken about Kanyisile Horanane. You need to prepare your child to make sure that emotionally, mentally, physically, they are prepared. And as Mohau said, that when a child now says, I'm feeling this in my body, there are these feelings that I don't know what to do with them. What kind of conversations do we have with our children? What kind of empowerment do we give, or do we empower our children instead of just shutting them down? Because shutting them up is also not going to help. It's actually pushing them out to go out in the street, to seek advice, to seek help, to seek an ear outside. So as parents, church, we need to learn to listen instead of just thinking that, no, this is not the time. So what kind of support as young people and children do us today? Anyone?
Well, I'll answer. So back to what I said, honestly, do with creating a safe space for any type of conversation should be a requirement instead of you should also
Do your part.
do your part as a parent as well, and not thinking that like mental health issues are only for people who reach a certain age when they're older, because children in primary school also could struggle because of bullying and all of that, because no parent raises a bully. You may think that you're raising a well-behaved child, but outside, Mwanating is a bully, doesn't treat children well, other kids well.
So we shouldn't say as parents, the fridge is full, what more do you want?
Yes, don't say that, because that's not cool. So yeah, like, because a child can't live a great life or a good life with a bad mentality.
Sure.
And the words that you feed to your child, especially since the main environment is the household, so you can't only rather share negative words and expect them to do positive things. So yeah, just creating a safe space for any conversation. And I feel like when you're grown, you can't shy away from a topic of that.
No, you can't.
You can't shy away from it, because I mean, how are you really protecting your child if you're not creating a space where they can speak to you about anything?
My goodness.
So yeah, just being there for them, like in any challenge that should be good.
Thank you so much, Mahau. And Mahau is bringing up the difficult conversations that we refuse to have, especially as parents as well as children. It's both ways. And I hope, Mama Nama, in your space, you are having this conversation with Buntle and Ritabi. I had this conversation with my kids a long time ago, like, and this one would laugh when we talk about sex. And I would say, it's either you sit and listen or you go out, because this is a serious matter. I don't see what is funny about this. And you say it as it is, Mama Kabinde, what is sex and who is it for? And what it does, and what is meant for, and how is wrongly used again, and what happens when you are still young. Stop saying that when you play with children you will fall pregnant.
Yeah, that's
stop.
You cannot say
And it's so true. You can tell them maybe from a certain age, then you can start dating and all that. That, you can talk to your child about sex.
yes.
But now from our cultural point of view, sometimes it's very difficult, but we do try,
We have
We are
to.
now living in modern times. We do try, although you cannot be explicit about it, but you can discuss it in discussion, tell your child that, maybe after at a certain age, or maybe when you're matured and
And the sex
You shouldn't be saying those things in the church. It's when you are married. That's thing. What kind of support, Siabonga, do you need from us as adults?
The kind of support we need as children from adults. I have to say, the fridge is full. Because some children compare themselves with friends.
Sure.
Your friend, it's not gonna help, because let's say your friend one day gets a Nike when now, totally Adidas. The next day gets a red bed, you also want a red bed. Like, challenges are not the same.
Sure.
Let's say your parent does not work, is like focusing on your school works, making sure that you go to school so that you can pass. Where now frustrating your parent will make your parent end up crying and wanting to commit suicide, because most of parents do that because of their children. Say, some children tell their parents that they don't buy me what I want, or like my city.
What if you get a parent who go ahead?
Some of them do say that, but you can see the child will not do that, because let's say the family love him or her, only that the mother loves him. And what we need from you guys adults is that because even fathers, girls are not safe now. Even old grandfathers or dads or your dad does wrong stuff to you as a girl. And let's say friends, your father sees you wearing a miniskirt, you don't know who is it, they go with you to the room and close the room. You end up seeing yourself in a bad situation, going to do pregnancy tests, and you find out that you're pregnant. How? You don't know, because of your father did wrong stuff to you. And I think our problem is that we don't listen. We don't tell your child to focus on their schoolwork. They must leave their phones. They'll tell you that it's my life, not your life. But when now you're trying your best for your child to do well, you're still gonna stay in this grade and go to another grade. And us as children, hey, because you don't have money for your child to go flat, but when you want to open the bedroom, break classes. Next door, she breaks classes if your mother does not give her money to go plait the hair. She'll break classes, bang the door, throw the key outside. It's a lot. Girls are actually the ones that are a problem. Boys, now we are fine. Now boys, we are fine.
I'll have the panel to come in there.
The girl panel.
I want to hear their views where we spoke about, where Siabonga spoke about the miniskirts. You should not wear miniskirts. And now that the girls are a problem. So let's hold it right there. I give to Kanisile to tell us, what does empowerment look like for you? What kind of support?
Empowerment for children and the youth is support. The presence of parents. Parents, we know that you are busy at work, but I think parents worship their jobs more than being present in their children's lives. And children who need just support, it doesn't have to be monetary value, like you said, right? It takes just one day you're going to go watch him or her play soccer, him or her netball. But you know, Rev, I think being a 1K can come in this activity. When I was growing up, to say that a child has been raised by a village, I knew the entire street, whom and who was who and who and who. True. Maybe two of us went to the same school, but even if we are not friends, if my neighbor sees me at school and my mom has not picked me up, we are definitely going together.
Yes.
And I will go and wait. Yes, there. I think also in this modern area, we do not even make an effort, or parents don't make an effort to even know the next door neighbor. Yeah. In a case of emergency, you are not home, but you don't even make that concerted effort to know your next door neighbor. Because if you're saying it takes a child to raise a village, which village is it? In your house? Or where? You know? Some of us, we don't know. For instance, Siabonga's father could be in the church.
Yeah.
I don't know him.
Yeah.
Do you understand? And so I can pass him on the streets and I wouldn't know he'd be in trouble, and I wouldn't know, or even Siabong would be in trouble. I wouldn't know where to take him. Do you understand? So I think we also need to make a concerted effort in terms of support, being present, and again, more than being present and more than creating a safe space, let us teach our kids, our children, to be kind to each other as well, so that they're able to protect each other when we are not present, or there's no immediate help in that sense, that they also support each other. And in them, like I said, kids mirror what we do. You cannot tell your child to do certain thing and you do the opposite. Yeah. And also teach, please, can we be supported in terms of reasoning capacity? We do not have reasoning capacity as even youth, I might say, because we were not taught that. So like how was saying, you say don't do this, but there's no reasoning behind it. As a parent, back up the reason. Give, even for me, I believe
Answer
that
the why.
I have to deal with the why all the time.
Answer the why, and the why sometimes has to be have evidence that backs it up. So when evidence comes in to say, even you could even be a living testimony, but because you don't want to testify to your child, this is what I went through, this is why I'm saying to you, do not go this direction, go here, because I've been there. And this is how I felt also, you know. Fine, this is what I did, or this is what happened to me, but how did it make you feel? Do you understand? Because sometimes I know that as human beings, we value how we feel more than what happens to us. So if you can tell me, when in your situation, this is what happened as a parent, this is how it made me feel. It made me less than. It made me feel so. For instance, teenage pregnancy. If a parent was pregnant at an early age, and you want to tell your child, okay, fine, you can have the sex talk. That's fine. But does it end there? Do you let the child know, if ever it happens, this is how you're going to feel? You're going to feel a level of shame. You're going to feel a level of being less than. You know, you're going to... And I don't want that for you. Yes, because this is how it took me back. You understand? It made me feel a certain way. And so that's the type of empowerment we need. And as well as Mam Gabinde, I think that I would like to think that life orientation shouldn't be should also involve like the mental part. I don't know if they do involve it now at schools, but it should. I think highly it must be the main focus, because the mentality that we have will always drive us into being the people that we want
and
to be.
most battles, when they are not winning,
In the
most
mental.
battles are lost here, and then there's no coming or there's no telling back.
And also, Rev, support your children's interests. I think when we come to our parents, because we are all scared to say, hey, I don't want to be a doctor, you know, I don't want to be a nurse, and our parents sometimes want to live their dreams through us. We are, like I said, you are the vessel. We are not yours. We are God's. So God, when we were birthed, God birthed us with our gifts and our purposes. So my gift will not be in the hospital, but my gift would be somewhere else. And so nurture that as a parent, nurture that. And also, when you nurture that, even if your child can hop from one thing to another, support it until she finds it. Until she finds that purpose and until she finds that interest.
So when you talk about supporting children's interest, for me it even goes further to say accept and support your child wholeheartedly in who they are, in their identity. Because about what will people say? You're not feeling, or you're not even thinking about, but what is my child? What kind of support does my child need right now from me? While they're trying to find themselves, or in what they are, or what they're facing as a person, you're more about yourself and what people will say, especially in a position that you hold. So let's hear from the audience. What kind of support do you think that our children need? Or what kind of support can we give to our children and our youth as the church, as the community? What can we commit to doing, to say, this is what we need to do, this is what we need to work on in terms of us as parents, we feel that we are lacking? Or what advice do you even want to give to young people? Especially, we forgot to touch on what do you call the human trafficking. We forgot to touch on what does social media do with young people, with children, with cyberbullying, with everything that happens that looks glamorous on social media. Then you get attracted to this person and it's the end of you. The next thing that we do, we say you were wearing 1, 2, 3. What kind of advice? And I want that advice again from this panel, from your coming from your level, to speak to other young people on how they should handle such? Or what do you do? What should you do to protect yourself other than us protecting you again? But I want to hear from now the audience. How can we support our children as the church and as the community? And what advice perhaps do we have for them?
You know what? I just believe that children need love and protection from us as parents. But I also strongly believe that our children need to be told the honest truth.
Yeah.
And the brutal truth sometimes. My kids know. I don't sugarcoat. I tell them things as they are. And also to create this safe space, like my house said, we need to be open enough for our children to know that they can come to us with whatever topic and we'll deal with it. There's no topic that should be deemed as shameful. Sorry? Taboo, yes, because then if you don't engage them, then they're going to hear from the strays from their friends. So you will rather have an honest, open discussion. My husband knows sometimes he even just leaves the room when I'm brutally honest about this kind of things. So you tell them the truth as it is and make their own decisions. Because I always tell them, I can guide you, but then ultimately it's your life to live.
Goodness. And that's the truth.
And
The hard
that's the
truth that they
truth.
need to hear. Wow. Thank you for that. I can actually hear myself in that topic. I often say, I've got my life. And okay, some of us, Kanisile, we do share what happened to us. What are the things, some of the things that we allowed to happen to us and that I wish should not happen to my children. And this is what happened at the end. This is how it made me feel. So I often say, then I got my own experience, which is good for you to get your own experience, but not at a cost. When I am here as a parent to guide you and not go through the same thing that I have gone through. Any other advice? Any other? Okay, chip in. In fact, you can chip in even in terms of, are girls a problem?
Sure.
What does a mini skirt? What does a mini skirt mean?
Can I answer that one? Do you want to answer?
I would also like to put this in.
Okay. Perhaps Kato, yeah.
Do you want
Kato
to-
can answer.
Oh yeah, answer Katle. Okay, please.
I want to answer that one. Okay.
And we need to understand we're having a conversation, no attacking.
I'm not
And
attacking.
Siyabonga,
I'm
it's a
actually
conversation.
teaching because he's young.
Yeah.
There's something called cerebral equality. Let me start there. Now,
I don't even know what that is.
that is basically what feminism is based on. If a man who is 50 years old, that has 3 children and married, is able to be a CEO, a woman who's the same age and has the same amount of children and is married can do the same thing. Now, the thing of GBV and the current state that we are in is all because certain people are not held accountable and shying away from certain conversations, just like teenage pregnancy. I don't think teenage pregnancy would be as bad as it is if parents were honest about sex. Guys, sex is not this taboo thing. It happens. Your child will grow up, they will do it. And then you want a grandchild. How did that child happen? Come on, bro. But certain things we can avoid, certain circumstances, situations, pandemic, epidemics, if we are honest from the beginning when we are raising our boys and girls. Now, the thing with dresses and It's not just mini skirts. I think he's basically referring to how girls carry themselves. I think we focus too much on what girls wear instead of saying boys do not rape.
Yes.
It's as simple as that.
Yes.
Girls should not be told, hore. And I get it right now. Most girls, I don't know if you've seen, actually wear pants more than ever. You try to protect yourself so much because of what is happening, but you still get raped, and you still get the question, what were you wearing? It's not about what you were wearing. And something happened to Kim Kardashian a long time ago when they stole her jewelry, whatever. And I like talking about that story because it tells you that not all men are rapists, in a sense that she says that she was wearing a gown with nothing underneath, and they tied her up and she was on the bed, and she was praying that, yo, I'm about to get raped, and she was already mentally preparing herself. But these men came in and took jewelry and left. It shows you that if a man wants to rape you, it is in them. You cannot, no matter what you can be naked and a man cannot see, okay, let me rape them, or what. It's just not in them. They want the watch or the whatever. So I think we need to change generations and decades and centuries of mentality that women are not doormats. Women are not for cooking and cleaning. Women are not for sex. Women are not for bearing children. Women are also given brains, because if they were for those 4 things, believe you me, God wouldn't have given us brains as well. So the minute that entitlement shifts from men, and we also teach our boys, as much as we teach girls that you should have sex after marriage, boys should also be taught the same thing. Because a lot of the times boys are encouraged to date. When you're 16, when a guy is 16, 17, oh, do you have a girlfriend? Well, who is he dating? He's dating your daughter. So the minute we are honest about such things, the better we will be in life, guys. But thank you so much for sharing.
You wanted to say something?
No, she covered it.
Yes.
I think the problem with that, the whole focusing on what a woman wore, and that is the reason as to why a man did what he did, starts at patriarchy. Because this whole men over women system, it's not just in like political aspects, social media as well. When a single father is praised for being a father to his kids, but with a woman it's just like that's what you're supposed to do. So now, like I'm saying, also with culture, I feel like at times the way culture is approached, or rather how children are taught about their culture. I mean, it's like, and it's good to teach children about their culture. Like, apart from being South African, who am I as well? But then there are certain things for men and certain things for women. And most of the time, men are portrayed as, the strong guy, the head, and women are rather taught to, or rather, no, as a wife, you should do this for your husband, all of that. When boys are taught that, and it's not approached with a certain caution, that's when toxic masculinity builds. Because now he's like, actually, I'm more than a woman. So, which is why, like I said, with patriarchy, you say, oh no, a woman was raped because of what she was wearing. But how does somebody's clothes give somebody a permission to do anything that's not what they gave consent for? So I feel like it really, if we really want to break away from all of this, we have to start at patriarchy, because that's the main issue. Already having an idea that men are better than women in anything and everything. Also with the culture thing, rather now saying that emotions and all of that is a feminine thing. Men must be rigid and all of that, they must repress their emotions. That's how they also now, their way of expressing how they feel is through anger, is through violence as well. So if that does not stop, honestly, then I don't know how else we can get away.
Let's give first Zamukutu and then Vice, Sister Yaya.
Yo, if this is a disaster.
I think Mfundisi, we are focusing more especially on teenager, and then maybe from a specific group name, and then we left behind those who are still in primary school.
Yeah.
We have a serious case from this last week Friday, a deep serious case that is involving now a lot of stakeholders, and it's in the district now. So now it goes toward parenting fail, especially the boys. I'm talking about the boys because this is the 14-year-old. So now what's happened when I'm in class teaching or doing, they're presenting a lesson. He's sitting down and then he's falling asleep. And then I told him, just stand up. When he stand up, his private part was up. Okay, I didn't notice that now. I'm standing in front. And then now the girls noticed. And then when they noticed the girls, they tell him, what's going on? He's like, I'll just put you on this, on you. Just like that. Okay, so I'm continuing the lesson. I hear now there's noise. Then I tell them, they said, no, say, he's saying he's going to put it in us. And then it's not the first time. It's not the second time. Even in our school of transport, he does this to us. He touches us. Like, so now, so let's not specific check on the certain age group. Because now, even those boys who are growing up, because of the social or the environment or the type of lifestyle we are growing up on, the cell phones. So now, and then when I'm asking this boy what's going on, I know my father said that this thing can go up, even when we were sleeping or in the morning, it's normal. You see, so it's going up to the gaps now. The parents are failing to tell the kids, if it's going up, you should behave in this certain manner. If you are at school or if you are in the house, because now you can't tell it's just the normal thing.
Yeah.
Because now these boys, they have feelings, they have hormones, and their hormones now, they are faster, way faster than way before. Can you imagine a 14-year-old is thinking about that now? Yeah. So like what I'm trying to say, he told me that no, he was looking at the girls' skates, their skate. It's the reason also that makes this penis just to be on. So you looking for this good. How are these kids now? They are not raised or they are not told no. If you look a girl in this certain manner, you have that in your mind. This is what's going to happen to you. No. So I think as the support from parents, it's where we are lacking now. No, remember, you can't say maybe it can start at 16, 18, 20. No. Now it's starting at an early age. Because a grade 4 learner, she started a period last week. You see, a grade 4 learner, she's on a period. So let's not, they are still kids. It's where the mess is happening now. So that might take. Let's check also the small ones. Let's not focus on now he is in teenager, he's in grade 10, the stage. No, but now the mess it started there at the bottom.
Thank you so much for that.
So for my side, I'm kind of gonna lean with how mentioning Indabaye culture. Even though we are the Black nation, also culture does some influence in the growing up in a manner of when a man does adultery, he's a married man, but it's brushed, it's okay, no, it's what men do. Yeah. Forgetting that even the sons, the brothers are watching. So as they grow up, even if they get married, even if they meet girls around 16, 17, they impregnate them, they're like, it's a normal thing for a man to have many kids, right? On the other side of girls, and ititina sikuliswe fundisa how to be caring, to nurture, because I think no dolly. So those are the things tina sikule
like a program. Yoba, Tina, this is how we're supposed to grow up. These are the things we should avoid. This is how we carry ourselves. All that stuff. While from the boys' side, there is lack of that nurturing on them to say, how do you treat a woman? Because Tina, whatever you will give us, Tina says, I multiply it, whatever. But forgetting that for a man to get married, which where there's a lack of knowledge and mentoring from the other side. Uzawufika, they will jokingly say, uba aska, amantombazana akasathandwa, all those things, because ayikho that guidance from a man perspective. Yes, women can be single parents, they can have boys, but you will never instill the man figure perspective in a boy. So uzoba nawe mos uye waba nomntana, uye wanam, and then yaphelelapi. So it's not instilled in men that one man, woman is it's where you all have to be, coached towards, And then another thing, as adults, yes, sikhulile yeminyaka, but maturely, it's something we also have to be mindful of, because it's a serious matter in Doyo data neglecting the kids. And ingati kubo, it's okay. Okay, now Ukatlewo is a graduate, then I can come back anytime I want to. Forgetting that, one, you have damaged the mother, because all those years, Sakula, Ukatlewo, primary, varsity, you name it, Ukatlewo is facing different, stages. Uzo dibana ne friends as tile, uzo dibana ne challenges. With yonke into outside home is free, so angathatha anything. But if there is no father figure, if I can take from my case, I have a mom and a dad, but the upbringing yam is way different from a single parent, because there are things I cannot do, but my mom and dad are in the Eastern Cape, but I won't do them. If you are a single parent, other kids or children, they take chance, forgetting that even if there are consequences, you're still going to go uyophendula ekhaya. But also fika kwi single parent, uzoba nayo la mentality uba nawe awunayo partner. Yabo? So there is a channel to defeat your parent, even if you are called to discipline. Having that wound to even give up, other parents, they just one comment, uyambulala umzali to a point oba iba ile nto ufuna uba yiyo mntanam. So uyambona ke ngokuba ulahlela izandla. At the long run, I uzobona uba okay, ndiye ndavunyelwa, but I have nowhere if now the world is hitting back on me, because umama uzongijonga okanye utata uzongijonga because ndafuna uphuma while I was being disciplined, while I was being, being taught what's outside there, what to do, what not to do. And when it comes kwindaba yoba siyafuna bazecaweni, siyafuna abantwana ba like baye ecaweni, because we found two things, that church does help a parent to discipline kids, even though I would say they take this nice advantage to say, uba umntanam uyafika phela umbadi, ndizawuthi hayi, but if umfundisi uthi hayi kuye, uzawuhlala phansi while kume bengazundimamela, yabo. So that is one advantage I think parents should initiate. Take advantage of that, because kids kabeva omnye umzali, they listen. Okwesibini, I love sport, for this. I love sport and gym. If you are in a team or club, coach, you have to listen to coach. It's a way of teaching your kid discipline, not per se endlini, but they must have discipline somewhere, because it's gonna be easily repeated elsewhere on how to share amongst each other, how to treat their siblings, even if they come back, how to treat their siblings. Even show them that I am here to support you. If they are sharing, because kids get excited if they score a goal, they went out to meet other friends, they talk, kids talk, just listen. Then if you are Mazba, oh, there's a girl called Muhao. Research about, because isn't as tetayo, uteta kakhulu Muhao more than the mother. Yabo, sumiyeka makathethe, even though uzokhula ke okahle xa sebe data ngobuqondo ba ayi mama nabakayazi le, ne? But she's telling someone. You know? So there are things where yes you can tell them, yes you can say anything, but there are topics that are uncovered, but they talk to someone. That's how it is. So that is the support, and you know, some other guidance, you know, we just have to notice. It's a very hard thing, it's very hard uyikhupha, because they spend most of the time outside than you. And as they grow, as they notice now they like this girl, they like this boy, uzawukwazi uthetha kwiitshomi yakho more than you. Ne? And it's not a bad thing. Nathi sakhula siyazi uba incoko nomama ngoku izawuphele lapha. You know? I'm like, no, I am 17 right. But in terms of what happens when I'm a girl, annoying ngola naye, but umona uyafuna ukwazi. How are you living in Joburg? And I'm like, I want to right. But I'm like, girl, you know, so but we can't get to that, you know. Just, you know, like, no, I'm safe, you know. So there are things where we just have to embrace. And the new book or library, it's social media. It's a new generation thing. And izinto indlela sakhula ngayo, it's way different from now. And instilling in the you should understand your background. Yes, we can say that to kids, but social media. I also do think, yes, South Africa, yes, rights, everything is free, you can access anything. You know, China is so limited with things that kids can see on social media. So having everything out there, umdana can take the good, can take the bad. You don't know. But shaping your kid to access what is good for them is also something as parents we should also consider. Thank you.
Thank you so much. My goodness, I wish we can go on and on and on and on about this topic, because clearly there's so much to talk about, there's so much to learn. I'm going to give the panel just 1 minute each, your last words, be it an advice or whatever that you wish to share. And perhaps if you want to say something about social media or human trafficking, you're more than free to do so. Just a minute, let's, in no particular order.
I just want to speak on the miniskirt issue. Just
Yes.
make it short, as well as social media. I think men should go back to dotisa. In Xhosa we say dotisa, abafana, the boys, teaching them how to be men,
Yes.
teaching them how to carry themselves in society, teaching them not to put themselves in situations where they won't be able to protect themselves as men as well. And as well as teaching young boys that you protect umntana oyintombazane. The girls are meant to be protected, be it bullying from another girl or another boy, or being touched inappropriately. Because my boy, I tell him, if you see another boy touching another girl inappropriately, even if you smack him, we'll deal with the consequences then, but you have protected another girl. And as well as men should stop seeing children as women.
Sure.
Children are children. If you've got a daughter that is the same age or even younger, she's not your woman. At any stage, is she your woman, or or should you see that person as a woman, a grown woman, because you wouldn't have wanted to be done to your own daughter. You don't even want your own daughter to date the same age, but you find it okay to be 20 years older than a 20-year-old. You know that the reasoning capacity and the knowledge to make right decisions is not matured yet. So you are manipulating that situation as a man, that I am older, I am wiser, and use that wisdom in the right way and not in the wrong way to manipulate the situation. Social media, parents have restrictions. I know that we cannot now say the kids or children shouldn't have phones, but restrict the phones. Be linked to your child's phone. Tell them what they should and should not indulge in. When a child is below the age of 18, you still have the authority over that child.
Yes.
So please, just to safeguard them,
Not 18,
because
the age of 18.
I still have that authority.
have that authority. Do not negotiate, because things that are out there, we can't negotiate with children at this stage, especially when it comes to social media. And then at an older stage, you then guide the child to say, this is what, do not indulge in things that are going to make you feel in a certain way. If you are ready for that conversation, indulge. But if you are not ready, don't indulge in it, because then that's when we're getting these pressures and we're getting ourselves, we get worked up about conversations that we should not even be in as young people. Young people, I'm going to speak to you. Just 2 minutes.
No.
Oh, no. 2 seconds. Yeah, sorry, 2 seconds. Young people, I'll say again, guard your heart and your space. What you take in is what you bring out.
Sure.
So it's important that what you
becomes
take in,
you.
yes, it will be your identity. So what you take in is important.
Mama Karibu.
I don't know where things went wrong, because when I look back, maybe when we go back to the basics, I would maybe mention the Zulu culture. Mini skirts have been worn, their traditional skirts, and they would walk
And they
back
felt
the
safe.
and nobody raped them and all that. We have no records of that unless maybe something was hidden.
Yeah.
Even the Botswana girls and all that. I think maybe it's a mind shift, or I don't know what had gone wrong to men. So in my opinion, I don't think there's anything wrong with a girl wearing a miniskirt. Maybe, as you said earlier on, maybe if maybe children from kindergarten, the boys need to be taught that, I mean, the girls' thighs, they are like yours and all that, so there's nothing that needs to entice you. Maybe they need to change the mindset. I don't know. It's all about your mind. Even the Swati, it's even worse with the Swati. Sometimes they don't even wear an underwear. It's only this. I once saw them at Standard Bank. We had gone to choir competition. They came with a very short skirts without any underwear. Everybody was like, even the cameraman, because it was live on TV, and it's their culture.
Yeah.
So I think, I don't know, I don't see anything wrong. Yeah, maybe we need to
That might shift, as you said. Yeah.
change.
Mahal,
Yeah.
your last words?
I don't really think I have lost words, actually.
Are you fine? You said
No,
all
actually, I think I'm so sorry.
No problem.
Children, okay, boys and girls should be raised in the same way, and I feel like once you notice that you are raising a boy in a way that makes a girl seem less than, that's when you should just cut it out.
So there shouldn't be chores for boys, chores for girls.
There should be chores for everybody.
Everyone should be in the house at a certain time.
Yes.
Not
Yes.
it's fine for a boy, but a girl.
But then you see with that, I get that, but now placing certain restrictions as girls, it's not because of them, it's what you can't control outside. You understand? So I get the whole, like Baba and I don't think, okay, I understand how, let's say if he has to come on Qatar, I do understand to a certain extent that I can't be doing that because I mean,
You won't
we
be able
hear
to protect yourself.
oh no, protect I can to a certain extent. So it's really it's just because of things we can't control out there. And as certain things as girls, I feel like we shouldn't take it as unfair, but rather actually every single day we are posting someone got kidnapped, someone got raped, every single day, you understand? So it's not even about you being a girl, it's about external factors that are harmful towards you. Like me, when I get into an Uber, I know every second trip someone is gonna tell me that, oh no, I don't look 17, I look like potential, all of that. There's nothing I can do. And I know that it's going to be, Pabala and I can receive the same driver, but I'm sure he won't speak to Pabala. You understand? So that's what I'm saying. It's not always about, no, you're being unfair towards me as a girl. It's just things that are happening outside that are really just out of our control.
Thank you. Siyabonga, your last words?
My last words are, if even us boys, we must check friends we are with, even girls, because friends are mostly the ones who sell you to other people.
Sure.
Because you think your friend is a true friend, but no. Let's say like you are here at church, your friend says there's someone calling you outside, but no. They know, he or she knows what she was doing with that person and what he or she told that person to do to you. Like even this thing which is posted, which people are lost, finding that that person is not lost, you're just posting for fun.
Sure.
Because those things do happen.
It's bad. Thank you so much for having been a wonderful panel. So as the community, as the church, as schools, we have a lot of work to do. But one thing that I want to challenge all of us, as we have said, it takes a village to raise a child, to protect and to empower our young people. The question is, what kind of a village are we choosing to be? Can we at least challenge ourselves and commit ourselves to be the community and the village and the church that will make our spaces that the children feel that they belong, they feel safe, where we create and we develop people who are not only the church of tomorrow, but the church of today, the disciples of Christ, people who are kind-hearted. And can we commit ourselves to showing up, to be the village that shows up, the village that listens, the village that guides? Because I often say that we fail our children, Menkabinde, because our parents did not shy away from instilling what needs to be instilled in us. The same way when we come to church, why are we not telling our children the importance of coming to church? Why are we not telling our children the importance, as Mohaus said, of not walking outside in a dark space? Because we are afraid. As you said, Yakuba, that some of us, we are dealing with a whole lot of things that, okay, I'm a single parent, therefore I cannot say 1, 2, 3, a child is going to challenge me, therefore I have no leg to stand on. As a parent, you owe it to your children to stand firm and to tell them this is not going to happen. Now I tell my kids, you can hate me for now, but I will talk until I am dead. And you will understand when you grow up, when you are in my age, that actually she cared for us. She loved us. So don't want to be, as parents who are online, don't want to be friends with your children at the cost and expense of your children. Make sure that you are a parent, you are a leader in the house, in the home, you guide your children, whether they like it or not. So thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you for joining us. And unfortunately, we could not even check if there are comments or okay, there are none. So thank you. Until next time, stay grounded, stay curious, stay connected, and stay, most importantly, in love with Christ. God's blessings.